Hey guys, Pete here. This will be a Better Call Saul Season 5, Episode 6 trailer breakdown and preview. The episode's titled Wexler V Goodman, and before we get into it, I will give you a spoiler warning. This video will contain spoilers for everything that's happened in Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad before it. I'm also going to talk about trailers for upcoming episodes and the titles of some of the episodes that are out there in the media. If you don't like that kind of stuff, this video won't be for you, but do subscribe to the channel on your way out. I do episode recaps each week, and I'll be covering Better Call Saul through the end of the series in Season 6. As mentioned, the title of episode 6 is Wexler V Goodman. There's been a lot of discussion about that. It makes it look like we're going to see Saul versus Kim in the courtroom. This trailer does not actually show that, though. There was one preseason trailer where we saw them in the courtroom. What we do see, though, is that the film students are back. We see them in Saul's office, in the back of the nail salon. The camera guy hands Saul a folder. Can't really see what's going on there, but I think it's funny that we see Saul's clothes hanging up in there again, as he must have made more room for Kim in the closet. After that, we see them filming as Jimmy counts down, and there's several shots of that, and there's also an extended sneak peek that's called "And Action." What they're filming is anyone's guess. There's no real clues here. Since we know Saul was very prolific in his commercial making from Breaking Bad, and then when he worked with the students in previous seasons, the first thought would be that they're making commercials for Saul's practice. This is the beginning of his media push. In the last couple of episodes, though, he's been focused on helping Kim with Mesa Verde and the Mr. Acker situation, so we have to wonder if it could be related to that. There is a cue card visible in the sneak peek video, and it does say the bank manager couldn't, but then it's cut off and we can't see what the rest of it is. So that could be a hint that this is about the Mesa Verde case. I've seen some theories out there about that. None of them seem like, oh yeah, for sure that's going to happen, but it's a definite possibility. Mike appears to be back in the US. We see him in his car. He's doing some sort of surveillance. The episode description says Kim tries to pump the brakes on Jimmy's latest scheme, but it may be too late to stop Saul. Mike turns up the heat on Lalo. Nacho attempts to enlist support from above. This all sounds like Mike has taken Gus up on his offer, and we hear him sitting in an office that I can't make out where it is. He says, "I only want justice." I zoomed in on the background. I looked at the notebook. I don't see any clues that give away exactly where he's at here. Based on the episode description, though, it sounds like he's doing something in relation to Lalo. I mentioned in my recap of the last episode that I was hoping there'd be a little bit more about him getting on Gus's side, something to tie them together a little bit more than what we saw. I'm not sure if this is an indication that that won't happen. It could have already happened, but I am excited either way to see Mike go up against Lalo. That's a matchup I can get behind. That'll be fun to watch. Gus pulling the strings, and obviously Nacho will be stuck in the middle. And we do see Nacho come back in this episode. Later we see Mike say, "I'm guessing there's something you want to get off your chest." He's standing outside of his car, and he's probably talking to Nacho there. There's a quick shot of Kim walking into her apartment. That cuts to Jimmy saying there's no way to prove anything. He has a happy look on his face. He doesn't look worried, but he may be trying to put on the best face because something's going wrong. He's saying that to her outside the nail salon at night, and that cuts to a scene of him sitting in his car, and we see a cop car pull up from behind, and he makes a face there that looks like he's not happy about what's happening. There's another shot of Kim standing outside of the nail salon looking in. We see Jimmy standing in front of their makeshift green screen. She looks concerned. This is probably tied into her saying Kim tries to pump the brakes on Jimmy's latest scheme. We hear Jimmy say, "Shock and awe is what I'm going for here," as he's directing the shoot. Then we get these two scantily clad women walking into the restaurant. We've seen this restaurant several times before, most recently when Howard and Jimmy had lunch a couple episodes back. It seems obvious that Jimmy would be behind this, which is probably meant to put Howard in an awkward position in front of clients or somebody else. They could be there for Kevin as well, though, since it seems like we've seen all of the lawyers meeting here for like working lunches or business lunches at one time or another. Either way, they look like working girls, and I can't imagine anybody that would be eating here being happy about seeing them come up to them in this public place. There's a quick shot of Kim talking to Richard. Neither one of them look excited or happy in it. That cuts to a shot of Jimmy running full speed through the courtroom in a sharkskin suit. We see Gus getting out of an SUV. That could be at the same location where Mike was earlier and where we'll see Nacho a little bit later. The episode description did say Nacho tries to enlist help from above. If he needs help, it's probably related to his father, who smelled out him being behind the offer from the person who offered him over the price for his business. We have to imagine Nacho's still trying to take care of that. I was thinking that it might be interesting if Mike works out a deal for Nacho. He does what Gus needs him to do. He becomes Gus's button man, to put it in his words. But Gus has to let Nacho go, because you can't really imagine any other way for Nacho to get out from under this. So I don't really have anything to point to say that that's going to happen, but that would make sense in my mind. After that, we see Jimmy. He says, "Hello, folks," as he walks into the conference room at Schweikart and Coakley. This could be where the name Wexler V Goodman comes from. If they're meeting to discuss the case, like, they may not actually make it to the courtroom in this episode. This just could be the origin of the case. He's at the camera one more time saying action, and then the trailer ends with a distant shot of Nacho, who's standing by his car waiting in a warehouse. It's one of those classic shots of somebody standing by a car in the distance, and it all looks like it's connected to those earlier scenes that we saw with Mike and possibly with Gus as well. As I mentioned, there was another sneak peek, and it's just an extended sequence of these filming scenes, similar to the 50% off one that we saw a couple episodes back. It looks like they're having pizza. He bought everyone pizza to lure some people in to be in their video. Like I said, the biggest revelation there was that the girl was holding the cue card, and we could see that it mentions a bank in it, which makes us think of Mesa Verde. We don't see a whole lot of action with Kim here. We see Kim going from point A to point B quite a bit and looking stressed. One thing that's out there in the universe is that there could be a teaser for this episode of a flashback of Kim's childhood, because IMDb has somebody listed as playing her mother. The problem with that is IMDb can be edited by anybody, and that you can't really base anything off what you read there, but I think there's a pretty good chance that that could happen. I've been saying that I think we need to understand what's going on, why she's doing what she's doing, because she's going down a slippery slope. She's doing things that don't necessarily make sense for the character we've known. So I'm hoping that this will be the episode that, with whatever Jimmy's doing with his filming and how he's trying to move forward, that's going to bring us more information about what's going on inside of Kim's head. Because really, with Rich in the last episode, her blowing up at the end of the episode, I mean, she's going to have to reel things back to prove that she's actually on Mesa Verde's side, or she's going to have to get out of the way. Like, she can't just keep going like that. She may still be able to pull the wool over Kevin's eyes, but it's not working with her boss, Rich, at her law firm. So things are going to be coming to a head. I'm excited to see Lalo and Nacho make it back. Like I said, I think that'll be fun to see Mike going after Lalo for sure. I hope that it all makes sense for why he decides to take on this life as Gus's enforcer that we know him to be later on. And at episode 6, we're past the halfway point. We're getting ready to go into the home stretch of the season. So let me know what you're excited about, what you think's going on. What's Kim got in mind as far as what Mesa Verde, like, what did she see in the picture for Mesa Verde? What's going on there? Do you think it's copyright? Do you think it's something else? Is Jimmy making this commercial about that? Something related to that? A lot of people are saying that the copyright thing, Jimmy's going to swoop in and do something that's going to be leverage against Kevin. Like, he'll have that copyright, or he'll know something about it. It's really hard to say, though, at this point. I hope we find out in this next episode. Please like this video if you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I'll be here making videos throughout the rest of Better Call Saul. I hope you'll join me. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you soon.